In a fight between 3 rhinos and 2 lions, the situation would be dire for the lions. Rhinos are among the largest land animals, weighing up to several tons, with skin that's not just thick but tough, acting like a natural shield against most attacks. Their horns are their main weapon, and they are incredibly dangerous. When a rhino charges, it can move surprisingly fast, and the momentum behind that charge is immense. Even a grazing hit from a rhino's horn could be fatal. Rhinos, despite their size, are capable of quick, powerful movements, especially when they feel threatened. They are not predators, but they are highly defensive and will not hesitate to use their size and strength to protect themselves. In a scenario with 3 rhinos, they would likely form a defensive circle, keeping their heads and horns pointed outward, presenting a formidable barrier to any attack. This defensive posture makes it incredibly difficult for any predator, including lions, to find a weak spot to exploit. On the other side, lions are apex predators, known for their hunting skills and ability to work as a team. But even with their speed, strength and coordination, taking on 3 rhinos would be a monumental challenge. Lions are used to hunting in groups, and they are skilled at taking down large prey by isolating and overwhelming it. However, rhinos are not typical prey, and their sheer size and power change the dynamics completely. The lions would need to rely on their agility and intelligence to survive. They might try to circle the rhinos, looking for any sign of weakness or an opportunity to strike. The lion's best strategy would be to try to separate one of the rhinos from the group, but even this would be incredibly risky. Rhinos are strong and can stay close together, making it hard for the lions to create any real separation. If the lions did manage to isolate a rhino, they would still face significant danger. They would likely attempt to attack from behind or the side, where they could avoid the full force of the rhino's charge. The lions might try to aim for the rhino's legs, hoping to injure it enough to slow it down or make it easier to attack. However, this tactic would require precision and speed, as any mistake could lead to a deadly counterattack from the rhino. Even if the lions managed to bring one rhino down, the other 2 would still pose a significant threat. The lions would need to avoid getting caught between the rhinos or being surrounded, as this would leave them with no escape route and likely result in serious injury or death. The lion's agility is their biggest asset in this fight. They can move quickly and change direction rapidly, which would be essential in avoiding the rhino's charges. The lions would need to keep their distance, using hit-and-run tactics to tire the rhinos out and look for an opening. Patience would be key, as rushing in would almost certainly end in disaster for the lions. They would need to wait for the right moment, perhaps when one of the rhinos is distracted or when they can strike from an angle that minimizes the risk of being gored. Even then, the lions would need to be extremely cautious, as any mistake could be fatal. The lions would also need to avoid direct confrontation with the rhino's horns. A single hit could be enough to incapacitate a lion, and the rhino's size and strength mean that they can deliver devastating blows with little effort. The lions would need to focus on outmaneuvering the rhinos, staying light on their feet and always being ready to retreat if necessary. This fight would not be about overpowering the rhinos, but outsmarting them, using the lion's speed and teamwork to create opportunities while minimizing risk. Even if the lions managed to take down one of the rhinos, the fight would be far from over. The remaining rhinos would likely become even more aggressive, defending their fallen companion with increased ferocity. The lions would have to decide whether to continue the fight or retreat, knowing that any further attempts to attack could lead to severe consequences. The risk of injury or death would be high throughout the entire encounter, and the lions would need to weigh their chances carefully. In this battle, survival would be an uphill struggle for the lions. They would need to rely on every bit of their cunning, speed and experience to stand a chance against the overwhelming size and strength of the rhinos. The rhinos, with their natural armor and powerful charges, would be a nearly insurmountable challenge. The lions would need to avoid making any mistakes, as even a small misstep could lead to disaster. The fight would be a test of endurance, strategy and quick thinking, with the outcome heavily dependent on whether the lions could find a way to exploit the rhino's weaknesses without falling victim to their overwhelming power.